His season keeps getting crazier. Pete Alonso is having a career season after making more history in yesterday's win against the Mariners, but fans are concerned he might leave in free agency, which is exactly what we're talking about only here on Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. We're going to talk about why the Polar Bear should remain in Flushing, but first we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69.4% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please do me a favor, do us a favor here on Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into why Pete Alonso should remain a New York Met. Honestly, give him a blank check. Look at this. He is now the franchise home run leader, most home runs ever hit in a New York Met uniform. It was 253 that he hit on Tuesday night against the Braves, and then hit his 254th later on in that game, and that is where he remains all-time franchise home run leader, a record that probably won't be broken for a long time, if it ever even is broken. If Alonso moves on, yes, it probably will get broken, but if not, Pete Alonso can make not only Met history, but MLB history, because he is an incredible power hitter, and that is one of the reasons, not even the only reason, one of the reasons why he should stay. Not only is he a great power hitter, overall he's a solid hitter. He can hit for a decent enough average like we're seeing this year, where he's hitting 268 right now. That's really good for Pete Alonso. His defense is honestly not that bad. It's solid over at first base. The one thing I think he has to work on is his flips, to either flips or overhanding it to the pitcher and making those kind of decisions. But overall, the defense is not that bad. He always gives 110%. He's always on the field, and he is additionally a leader. Now, solely from a statistical standpoint, shouldn't this record count for something at least? All right, fine. Even if you said no to that and it doesn't, how about leading the franchise in numerous categories, being in the top 15 in a bunch of them? Starting off with runs scored. Something you don't think when you think Pete Alonso is runs scored. Well, he is 9th all-time in that category, but he has 117 games less than the next closest player above him in terms of games played, and that is, of course, Edgar Alfonzo. He's 15th all-time in hits, this being Alonso, with only more games played than Keith Hernandez and Daniel Murphy in the blue and orange. He's also 13th in doubles, with only more games played than Jeff McNeil, Carlos Beltran, and Daniel Murphy, guys, of course, that are above him in that statistic. And as you see on your screen right now, 3rd all-time in RBIs with 140 less games played. That's a full season less than Darryl Strawberry, so he'll surpass him sooner rather than later. In fact, he'll surpass him way before that 140 games happens. I mean, Alonso is just an RBI machine right now. He already has his 100th RBI, which is the point of today's video. We'll get into that in just a second. And he has 616 less games than David Wright. So, again, if Alonso stays, he'll surpass Wright. He'll have the most home runs and the most RBIs of all time. He'll end up probably with at least top 5, if not top 3 in doubles. He'll get up there in hits. He'll get up there in runs. Overall, even OPS, he will be a top player. Slugging percentage. Overall, Pete Alonso is one of the best things in recent history to happen to this franchise. So why would you let him go? And again, this is the point of today's video. Pete Alonso had his 100th RBI yesterday, meaning he now has 4 seasons of 100 plus RBIs. That is only second to David Wright. He now stands alone as the only 2 players. They stand alone as the only 2 players to have at least 4 seasons of 100 plus RBIs. Alonso stands alone in second place, and if he stays with the Mets next year, or he signs a 2-year deal, I think he will tie the record next year with David Wright. And again, if he stays, barring him leaving in free agency, I think he will easily get the all-time record and have the most home runs, or most RBIs rather. He already has the most home runs, the most RBIs, most 100-plus RBI seasons in New York Met history. That is the point of today's video. He is now second in terms of 100-plus RBI seasons all-time in New York Met history. And look at this. His career numbers. He is awesome. Look at that season in 2022. He holds the RBI record. Most single-season RBIs by a New York Met is Pete Alonso in 2022 with 131. In fact, he broke his own record. He broke his own record that he set rookie year with 120, and then he came pretty close in 23 with 118, and it looks like he might be on pace to break that 131 again this year. when you look at the most RBIs by a New York Met in a single season, it just says Pete Alonso, Pete Alonso, Pete Alonso, Pete Alonso. He drives in runs. He's a phenomenal hitter. He is great and needs to stay here in New York. Oh, by the way, he's also a Rookie of the Year in 2019, rookie home run record with 53, led the National League that year. Actually, might have led the entire league. He led the entire league in home runs, I might say. 5-time All-Star, 2-time Home Run Derby champion. He's one of 23 active players with 250-plus home runs. He's 15th right now in OPS amongst active players. 8th amongst active players in slugging percentage. And look at the season that he's having. 28 home runs, 100 RBIs. We've only played 123 games this year. 268 batting average. That is awesome for Pete Alonso. OBP above 350. OPS nearing 875. Great season from Pete Alonso overall. And it's going to cost you. It is definitely going to cost you in free agency. And there are more reasons about it that we'll get into in just a second, but they need to re-sign him. Those are the two main points of this video. First off, he made history, of course. Him and David Wright are now the only two players to have 4 or more seasons in a Met uniform of 100-plus RBIs. And second of all, you got to re-sign Pete Alonso. 100%, not even a question. How about you try the best stats with runners in scoring position this season? Something the Mets have been really bad at, Pete Alonso has been really good at. He is the only player that really, with maybe the exception of Francisco Lindor, that is hitting with runners in scoring position. He's got the most ABs in those situations, most hits, most doubles, most home runs, most RBIs, best batting average, best slugging percentage, and best OPS, and is only second in walks and OBP behind Cedric Mullins. You got the same deal with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He's got the most hits, doubles, home runs, RBIs, walks, second in batting average, OBP, and slugging. And how about this? How about the top of the MLB in these given categories with runners in scoring position? Again, here are the stats. 42 hits with runners in scoring position this year, 9 doubles, 13 home runs, 73 RBIs, 25 walks, a 333 batting average, 435 OBP, 714 slugging, and a 1.149 OPS with runners in scoring position. That ranks him third in all of the MLB in hits, tied for 10th in doubles, tied for first in home runs with Cal Raleigh and Kyle Schwarber, 2 of your front runners right now for American League and National League MVP respectively, tied for 8th in walks, tied for 14th in batting average, 10th in OBP, 2nd in slugging, and 3rd in OPS. And look, this is the big thing with Pete Alonso, the contract. He has a player option next year in 2026 that he's almost guaranteed to decline. Therefore, he even said he's basically going into free agency. He basically confirmed that. He's going to test the waters. And what David Stearns and Steve Cohen and anyone else that makes a decision in the Met front office, they need to throw as much money as possible to Pete Alonso. Because guess what? Not only do they need him, he wants to stay. Let's turn it over to exactly what Alonso said. He said, I mean, if it works out, it would be really special to re-sign. But again, there's a lot of things that happen business-wise and a lot of unpredictable things that happen in free agency. Yeah, this time around, like last year, there's no guarantee, but happy I stayed. He's happy he stayed. This is a great team. It's a great group of guys. We'll see what happens business-wise. Nothing's guaranteed, so we'll see. This is exactly what Alonso said, including all of the filler words. And the last thing he wrapped up with, I got to finish this year off strong. I got to finish this year healthy. Ultimately, right now, I'm just thinking about what I can do to help my team every single day. He is the biggest team-first guy I think I've ever seen. The free agency stuff, I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about that stuff right now. I'm sure at the end of the year, I'll have plenty of time to think about that. And also, I don't know what this counts for in some people's head. How about memorable moments? The Pete Alonso home run. He had a terrible season last year in 2024. That's why he's on such a cheap contract right now at 2 years, $54 million, $30 million this year, $24 next year on the player option that he's almost guaranteed to decline. His season was awful. Nobody thought he was going to make a hit. Nobody thought he was going to get hit in this situation. In fact, he just dropped a pop-up the inning before this in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series against the Brewers. Comes up to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Everyone is thinking, including Gary Cohen, he even went on and said this publicly. He said, all I was thinking, I just don't want Alonso to ground out into a double play. What does he do? He hits the home run that is one of the most memorable moments for me as a Met fan right now, at least. It was incredible. Look at the celebration behind it. Howie Rose had the perfect call on it. everything with Pete Alonso, from statistics to memorable moments to being a leader to playing. I mean, look at the games played. He plays almost every single game. He leads the league, led the league last year in games played. He's going to lead the league this year in games played because, barring injury right now, he's staying healthy the whole year. He's on an incredible stretch of over 320 consecutive games played. There is no reason why the Mets shouldn't sign Pete Alonso, and especially because he did, in fact, make history. Second player in Met history to ever have four total seasons of 100-plus RBIs. So go down there in the comment section, congratulate Pete Alonso on another milestone, another Met milestone, and a career milestone. Fourth season of 100-plus RBIs, and Pete might break his own record of 131 RBIs that he set back in 2022. Regardless of how he plays, regardless of how Francisco Lindor plays, for my last video, the Mets need to win a baseball game tonight. Finally take a series for the first time since when the Giants came into town in late July. Hopefully get this season back on track with Pete Alonso in the center of it. But again, congratulations to Alonso for making history, and the Mets have to re-sign him. Let me know if for some reason you disagree down there in the comment section. Give me your thoughts, give me your reasonings. But unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you today. Thank you so much, always, for watching at a crucial game against the M's tonight. Sunday Night Baseball in Williamsport, the Little League Classic. So, let's go Mets.